May 28, 1940. Reich Air Ministry, Berlin. Hermann Göring throws down an intelligence report and bursts into contemptuous laughter. President Roosevelt has just announced America's plan to build 50,000 aircraft annually, a number so ridiculous that the Reich Marshal can't contain his amusement. The Americans are desperate if they think such propaganda will frighten us. Göring sneers to his staff. They know nothing of war production. Let them try to convert their toy factories. They'll learn that building warplanes requires more than assembly lines. What Göring didn't know was that in Detroit, a $1 per year man was about to prove him catastrophically wrong. This is the story of the most expensive laugh in history, and how America buried the Third Reich under an avalanche of aluminum and steel. Meet William Knudsen, a Danish immigrant who had risen to become president of General Motors, earning $300,000 annually in 1940s money. When Roosevelt called, Knudsen abandoned his fortune to serve his adopted nation for $1 per year, becoming the architect of the most ambitious industrial transformation in human history. The challenge was staggering. In 1939, America had produced just 3,611 military aircraft. The Army Air Corps possessed 1,700 combat planes, many obsolete. Yet Roosevelt was demanding a 14-fold increase in production, while Nazi panzers were racing through France. When presidential advisor Bernard Baruch was asked who could achieve such impossible production, he responded, "First, Bill Knudsen. Second, Bill Knudsen. Third, Bill Knudsen." But German intelligence was watching. Their military attaché in Washington, General Friedrich von Bütikofer, sent accurate reports describing American industrial mobilization. His December 1940 cable warned, "American war production will reach unimaginable heights." Berlin's response? They dismissed these warnings as defeatist exaggeration. The Nazi worldview simply couldn't accommodate American reality. When Hitler met with von Bütikofer in February 1939 to discuss American potential, the Führer ranted about American racial degeneracy rather than listening to intelligence assessments. He proclaimed Americans half-Judaized, half-negrified, and incapable of sustained warfare. This ideological blindness would prove fatal. Luftwaffe intelligence dismissed reports of women entering aircraft factories as signs of American desperation. They couldn't conceive that democratic mobilization might exceed totalitarian command. When reports arrived of factories running 3 shifts, German analysts assumed exaggeration. Meanwhile, the impossible was becoming reality. By December 1941, American factories were producing 2,000 military aircraft monthly, a 20-fold increase from 2 years earlier. The arsenal of democracy was awakening. But here's where this story gets absolutely insane. Ford Motor Company announced plans for a massive bomber plant at Willow Run, Michigan. When completed, it became the world's largest factory under one roof. 3.5 million square feet with an assembly line stretching 1 mile. Charles Sorensen, Ford's production chief, made an audacious promise: 1 B-24 Liberator bomber per hour, when other factories managed 1 per day. Initial results were catastrophic. The first bomber, completed in September 1942, required complete rebuilding. Quality control failures reached 50%. By February 1943, Willow Run produced just 56 bombers monthly, against promises of hundreds. Critics dubbed it, "Will it run?" But Ford engineers persevered, breaking the B-24's 488,193 parts into manageable sub-assemblies. They developed hydraulic, riveting tools, prefabricated wiring harnesses, and moving assembly lines. The breakthrough came in April 1944, when Willow Run produced 428 B-24s, 1 every 63 minutes, 24 hours daily. This single factory was outproducing the entire German aviation industry. But here's what truly shattered German confidence. German pilots began recognizing American production superiority during the Tunisia campaign. Major Johannes Steinhoff, commanding JG-77, noted in December 1942, "The American pilots are no longer amateurs. Most disturbing, there are more of them every day." By 1944, the mathematics had become inescapable. During Big Week in February, when Americans mounted 3,500 bomber sorties against German aircraft production, the Luftwaffe lost up to 355 fighters and approximately 100 irreplaceable veteran pilots. Germany was losing 200 fighters monthly while producing $1,000. America was producing 2,500 fighters monthly while losing $400. Major Heinz Baer, one of Germany's top aces with 220 victories, described a January 1944 mission over Brunswick. The bomber stream stretched from horizon to horizon, at least 700 flying fortresses and liberators. We were 8 fighters against hundreds. It was hopeless. By 1944, American aircraft production reached staggering proportions. That year alone, factories produced 96,270 aircraft. This single year's production exceeded Germany's entire wartime output of approximately 94,677 aircraft. But here's what truly broke German minds. The workforce transformation shattered every Nazi preconception. Women, comprising less than 1% of aircraft workers in 1941, represented 65% by 1943, 310,000 women among aircraft industry workers. At Douglas Long Beach, 22,180 of 41,620 employees were women. Rosie the Riveter wasn't just propaganda. Rose Will Monroe drove 3,000 rivets per shift at Willow Run with 99.5% accuracy. Women inspectors at Douglas reduced defect rates from 3.2% to 0.3%. German intelligence interpreted female employment as desperation. Instead, precision improved. Women excelled at detailed work, wiring, instruments, inspection. Their integration represented democratic strength, not weakness. As American production soared, Germany retreated into fantasy. Göring authorized the Jaeger program in February 1944, dispersing production into 729 underground facilities using slave labor. The Mittelbau complex employed 60,000 prisoners in horrific conditions, with 20,000 dying. These underground factories produced more defects than aircraft. Slave laborers sabotaged components. Quality control collapsed. The entire Mittelbau complex produced fewer engines monthly than Ford's single Chicago plant. Meanwhile, American innovation accelerated. Boeing developed modular B-29 construction across 4 facilities with completely interchangeable parts. By early 1945, America was producing 100 B-29s monthly. Aircraft incorporating technology Germany couldn't match in prototypes. June 6, 1944, demonstrated the culmination of American production. D-Day employed 11,590 Allied aircraft against 319 German sorties, a 36-to-1 superiority. This wasn't tactical advantage, but industrial annihilation. As defeat approached, even Nazi leadership acknowledged the production catastrophe. In December 1944, Goebbels wrote in his diary, "Göring's promises about Luftwaffe superiority now seem like criminal delusions. We fight the world's greatest industrial power with rhetoric." Even Hitler admitted to Speer in January 1945. "We should have listened to Böttcher's reports. Their industrial potential was decisive. While we built hundreds, they built tens of thousands." Hermann Göring's arrest on May 8, 1945, marked his confrontation with reality. During interrogation, he admitted, "I knew American industrial potential was great, but the execution exceeded my worst fears. That single factory at Willow Run produced more aircraft than our entire bomber force at peak. It was incomprehensible." At Nuremberg, prosecutors presented Göring with overwhelming evidence. Charts showed America producing more aircraft monthly, by 1944 than Germany managed annually. His March 14, 1946, testimony revealed his struggle to comprehend the scale. "I never imagined they could increase aircraft production 100-fold in 4 years. Such growth seemed physically impossible." On October 15, 1946, hours before his scheduled execution, Hermann Göring wrote his final letter. "The Americans won through industrial power, not military prowess. We were not defeated by better soldiers, but by better factories. The nation we dismissed as capable only of building consumer goods buried the Wehrmacht under aluminum and steel. His last recorded statement was equally revealing. We declared war on an industrial giant while it slept. When it awoke, we were doomed. Göring committed suicide that night, but his testimony stands as history's verdict. The Reich Marshal, who had dismissed American capabilities, died, knowing a single American factory exceeded his entire Air Force's lifetime production. The final numbers tell the story. America produced 295,959 military aircraft. Germany produced 94,677. But the real victory lay not in numbers, but in method, proving that free workers could outproduce slaves, that democratic cooperation could exceed totalitarian command. Hermann Göring laughed at the idea of America producing 50,000 planes annually. America responded by producing twice that many, transforming global history in the process. His laughter echoed through history as the sound of catastrophic miscalculation, the fatal dismissal of democracy's arsenal by a man who understood neither democracy nor production. In the end, both buried him and everything he represented under 300,000 aircraft that turned his contempt into history's most complete defeat.